So, you see them in lots of painting tutorials, wet palettes. You could go and buy one. There's various brands out there ranging from about 10 to 25 quid for a wet palette, perhaps a little bit more. I haven't really looked into all the brands that are out there. Or you can make your own. I used to just use a tile, and that seemed to sort of manage for me as my palette. You know, I can see just an ordinary white ceramic tile. You can normally pick one of these up from like a DIY store. Just say you want a sample or something, and they normally charge you about, I don't know, 10, 20 pence, something like that. It's next to nothing for one of these things. The good thing is the paint doesn't really stick, so if you just use this as your sort of dry palette, then your standard dry palette, it's non-absorbent, so it doesn't dry any of the sort of moisture out the paint to leave the pigment, which can cause issues. You put your little dot of paint on here, spread it around, you can water it down a little bit, and that's your standard palette, but that will dry out. So I've got a light here, it'll dry under that. The other option is make your own. So cheapest way of doing that is buy a little one of these like sandwich boxes. Pick one of these up from most sort of, I think this was from B&M in the UK, which is about £2, I think this was. With this, it's got a little, as you can see, it's got a little rubber seal. So once it's on the lid and clamped down, then you're not going to get any moisture evaporation inside. I tried a few different things then of putting in there. I originally had a foam pad, probably about the thickness of my finger. It was like a little square bit of foam which was for washing dishes. I cut that into square, put that in there. What I found was if you didn't moisten it fully, then the top layer of the foam would get dry, and the bit of parchment which you had over the top, that would dry out as well. If the lid is on and clipped down, be careful if you're leaving it somewhere sunny or somewhere warm, because the moisture level of the actual air inside the tub increases, and then any paint you've got sitting on the parchment, that can split because that'll pick up moisture from the air and it'll try to sort of create its own little equilibrium. So only three things you need. One of these, about £2. Roll of this, £1. Every kitchen's got some. Kitchen towel. I found this is easier. I found with the foam, sometimes it would get a bit moist. If you had the lid off for a bit, or if it got contaminated in some way, then you could get a bit of mold growing in there. With this, yeah, just bin it. You know, it's one sheet of, not even one sheet. So, you know, I folded it in half. That's too big. So, yeah, we just cut these down to size now. Pop them in. I normally put just halved over here. It'll be 2 layers or double thickness then. Rough as you like, doesn't really matter. That's a bit too big, so I'm gonna pop that in, pop that down, fold that over. All right, it's tripled in one area. It's enough to hold the moisture. Baking paper, again, put the lid down. The snip of the scissors, cut straight up, and then cut across. And that's it. Pound, 10 meters. It's gonna last you forever. These, change them every couple of painting sessions, I suppose. Once you haven't got any space left on there, it's not very big. And that's it. Basic DIY wet palette with a lid, with a seal in it. Overall cost, about £3, £3.50. Gonna last forever with a roll of parchment and the roll of kitchen towel. Thank you.